Okay, that was strange. I went to hit the button to put me in, and wow, that was strange. Okay, that I'm still a little boggled by that. Okay, so I had a coupon code in here for y'all for the watercolors if anybody's interested. So let me retype that since it took me out and took the coupon code. Okay, so for $5 off your Artistro purchase, if you'll okay, I'm putting a link in the chat, so it should be in the comments for everybody on Facebook and on YouTube. And why does it look like it's just going to YouTube 2 or 3 times? That's weird. Okay, I don't know what it did there, but that just looks weird on that one. So I hope it didn't mess it up on the Facebook, on the YouTube one. Anyway, okay, so now that everything's gonna go techie weird on me, I paid about 20. Hang on, let me double check. I'll look exactly how much I paid for this sucker, this set. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I'd gotten some new supplies. I'd bought them from a different vendor. I paid $24.99 plus tax and shipping and everything for this set that I got. They have one that's $26.99. It's, I think, the exact same colors. It's a slightly larger box. I just wanted the smaller one because I like the color of the box. I don't know. I figured it'd be just as easy to travel with. I didn't really see anything about the other set that I preferred that made me want it more. I think it's just a little bit bigger case. It's really not even that much bigger, but anyway, it came with 10 sheets of watercolor paper that I have worked through. I have done the day I got it and I was testing it out. I did my iris, and then I inked in my border on it, and then I colored over that with watercolor. And then there is my yellow roses that I went in and played with. And then I think this is even some gold on it from my gold paint pen that I got from them. But it could just be all watercolor because I tried to leave it all watercolor just so I could see. Now I did go over it with some ink and I was like, I don't know if I like the ink on it to help define it more. I did it on this one too, but you don't see it as much on this one. So we're going to see how I like it on the sunflower. I'm going to do a sunflower today. Kind of figured I have 10. So I think what I'm going to do is a few florals, maybe some Indian paint brushes or blue bonnets or both on another one. And then I would do me some bookmarks that might be something else, or I would repeat the bookmarks, one of the two. I don't know. I seem to keep managing to touch it while it's wet and move little fingerprints here or there somehow every time. But that's user error, not color error. One thing I really love about these things is this neat little card right here. It tells you what they are, what color they are, and you can just lay it right here above it, and you're like, okay, this one is, it's this one. This one's the magenta. This is the orange red. And it's like, I don't necessarily see the color that it says it's going to be, but let me tell you, every time it's the same color that it says it's going to be. So anyway, so today I wanted to show y'all that and just share that link if you wanted it, not requiring anybody or requesting anybody to go spend money anywhere, but it comes with this cool little brush that holds the water in there, and it's just so, I love it, especially when I'm trying to do my watercolor. As I'm learning to watercolor, it's more like working with a pen or a brush pen. And I absolutely love them. I love that it came with some neons and it came with some metallics as well. So I really, really like that. So what I'm going to do, I want to see what that flesh is going to look like because I think it's going to be a little darker than I want. I'm going to, oh, and oh, that wouldn't be a bad color to mix in with some of my yellows for some depth. Whoop. There we go, Steph. Just make a big old mess. Another thing that it came with a pencil, it came with a little watercolor brush, came with this cool brush, and then it also came with a card so that you can do your shading and things like that as you blend it. And here's white with, I guess, less water and more pigment. And you could, but you fill it in how you want it and you blend what you want on there. I just thought it was really cool that it gave you that card. And it's watercolor paper. It's really heavy duty thick. I like it. Okay. Should you join me? If you'll give me a comment and let me know that you can hear me, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so I'm trying to make sure I leave plenty of room for my border because the last time I drew it in first, at least the outer edge, and I just didn't bother to do that today. So I'm going to slide that back up here. I think I'm going to start with my deep yellow though. And I'm just squeezing a few drops of water in there. I should have done brown first. Oh well. And I'm just doing me some pointed oval, eyeball-y type shapes. And that's really the sunflower leaf shape. Okay, I'm going to do me a circle before I go too much crazier. I hate to waste that color. Maybe I should just squeeze it back in there. There's a thought for in the future. I'm going to get me some brown ochre. And we're going to see what that looks like for my center here. Because I need to have my center kind of guesstimated in here. Now that's a lot darker than I was kind of planning it, or a different shade. How's that? A different shade than I was planning it to be. So I will let that dry. And probably go over it with that Van Dyke brown because it'll be a little darker. So I'm going back. I'm going to drip some water in on top of some of that yellow and let it be soaking in and loosening up some of that deep yellow. And we're going to grab more oval eyes. And come in. And I'm going to just keep doing those as I come around. I'm trying to overlap some, but not too much. I don't want to wipe it off immediately. And I know that this is probably going to get covered by the edge of my frame when I frame it in on with my doodles, with my little tangles. But I really like those little tangles. Okay. I got two really close. One was looking really fat to me, so I covered it at the edge. Now, this is our initial set of leaves and petals. But usually the sunflowers have multiple levels going back and forth. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a second set. Actually, what I think I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go over this set a little bit better. I'm going to squeeze this water out, get all that color out. 2 to 3 good squeezes usually gets all that color out. So I'm going to grab that orange, that flesh that I was talking about earlier. I'm going to grab a little bit of it. And while I'm over here where I can kind of thin it out a little bit, thin it down. And then I'm going to kind of trace some of these original petals around the outside edge. So I don't want it to be super thick with it, but you might want a couple of those little streaks in there. Because that adds just that little bit of dimension in there. And when it dries, it's really pretty in there. Okay, so I'm just grabbing some of my watered down color because I don't really want it too, like I said, I don't want it to be super, super thick here. I do want it to kind of blend with that yellow a little bit, but I don't want it to be like super overpowering on it either. So I didn't want it to be super strong in that fleshy tone on top of the yellow and then overpower it. It's almost like it's not quite enough without a little bit more in there. Can y'all see what we're doing? Let me see. How does this work? Nope, that just turns on the light. Let me see if I can zoom us in this way. Okay, let me unlock the paint area. Does that bring it up any better for you? Let's see if that works for today. I'm going to try and undo it whenever I get done, but that should hopefully give us a little bit more. And I'm just putting some light little streaks in there. Can y'all see those? See up here at the top where I've got a little bit of darker around these edges. It's not a lot yet, but it's just enough that you can tell the difference in these leaves that are in the front that I've done in this first group, so that when I do these second ones like this one and this one, it will not be just completely lost. Okay. So I'm grabbing a little bit of that. There we go. That's a little bit darker right now. Thinking that might be a little too dark. We shall see. We shall see. I'm trying to pull some of that color toward the center. I don't think it's going to be a big deal if it blends with that brown, because I'm going to go over that with another brown in a minute. That looks a little bit more defined over there, but I can see it in real life pretty good over here on that one. So I'm going to turn it so I can reach these a little bit easier. We're going to grab our petals. Remember, these are all kind of still the front petals. They may overlap a little bit, but they're going to still be all kind of squished in there in the front, fighting for attention. Okay. these. Okay, I think I've already hit the other ones at least once with that color. And I think it's got just enough definition to not be too much. Let's see. What do y'all think? There's just enough in there that you can see those streaks and layers. And you don't want to do too much too fast, because if it gets too wet, it starts really bubbling up. I had to put these under something flat when they were drying a little bit. Otherwise, they were wrinkling a little bit. But I think that may have been error on my part. Oh, I bet I put it on the wrong side of it. Yeah, I did. I went on the wrong side of this one. Oh, well. Live and learn. Live and learn. Okay, so I'm going to grab, making sure I've got all that color out of this napkin and out in this napkin. I am going to grab the grass green. No, is it peat green or grass green? Which one do I like? Let's see what peat green looks like. I think peat green is the one I like. This is peak green. And I'm going to pull some down. And kind of do with the stem here. I'm actually, because I've got a little bit of green in here, going to squeeze a drop of water out here. And I'm going to kind of try and get it in the shape of the leaf that I'm wanting. And we shall see. And then I'm going to add a skosh more of the watercolor. And then I'm going to come over here, since I've already got some in here. And add some of the water in that way again, trying to get just a little bit of a leaf there and not too much water. There is loads of water. Okay, that's too much water. We'll just try pulling it like we did with this one. And then we'll put the other color, drop the other color on it. Because I'm going to try and do a two-toned leaf, or a multi-toned. How's that? Because it won't necessarily be two definite colors in the watercolors. One, I'm generally lazy like that and don't want to wait. I'm too big a hurry. And then I want the leaf green is really light. And that's the one I think we're going to want to put kind of in here with it. I'm going to drag a little strip of it down this side. And because there's so much color, water still in this one. Oop. Too much water. And then we're going to put just a little of that lighter green in there. I'm going to rinse in my brush. Rinsey, rinsey, rinsey. Then we're going to grab a little bit more of the green, the darker green. I don't want loads, so I'm going to kind of trace down this side down over here. I don't want it to overpower that lighter one. And I'm afraid it's gonna. love me some sunflowers, so I am making me a sunflower to go with the other ones that are in my set. I don't know, I'm debating trying to give those away to somebody, do a drawing or something, or somebody's paying attention and enters the drawing or something, then maybe it would be. Okay, so the Van Dyke brown is way darker than I was. Not that it's bad, it's just it's very dark, which is good because I like the shade of it better for what I'm trying to accomplish here. Okay. So while that center is redrying and these leaves are redrying, I'm going to come back up here to the deep yellow at the top. And I'm going to grab a little bit more of that. And I'm going to start doing leaves behind these leaves, these petals. Sunflowers are actually relatively simple to paint. Oh, they're if you can do a circle and draw a line, then you're pretty okay as far as watercolor goes. Could be wrong, could just be my opinion, but I find them. I tend to color a lot of them because they tend to be very relaxing for me. How's that? If they're not relaxing for you because they're stressful for you, then I can see where you would be like, no, they're not very easy to color. They're not very easy to paint, Steph. I don't know where you get that crazy idea or that crazy notion. So I'm going to put another one right here. Kind of widen it just a little bit. And then one more right here, because I already have a couple in here. And I think when I lift this up, you'll see really well. See that where the orange, where I use the flesh to outline, and then the one beside it is not outlined. You see that difference in shading there? It makes a difference in being able to see the flower versus the individual petals versus it all becoming a yellow blob. So I'm kind of liking how this color is turning out. I'm gently taking that same flesh and kind of running around the outsides of them. Not going heavy, but I am going over them. Oops, got some green on there. Just kind of hit the edges where I need to again to kind of bring out those front petals. It's very different doing watercolors versus acrylics. I will give you that in a heartbeat. I'm learning to do some double shading and one shading and stuff and all in one stroke with the acrylics, and I just don't see it happening really well with watercolors because they just blend together so quickly. All right. Well, I think that we have successfully done a sunflower. Now, I think what I want to do is hit it with some of this neon yellow, the fluorescent yellow here, in just a few little places and add some highlights. Oh, I think I've got it too far up. See the bright yellow on there right now? That's the fluorescent yellows kind of showing up. I'm trying not to muddy that palette there, that cake of it. With the other colors. But I'm definitely wanting to grab some of that concentrated color right there. All right. Let me grab just a little more water. Oh, there we go. There's some yellow coming now. I'll put it up there. The sun's kind of hitting it on that angle. All right, I think I've got everything now. If we want, since I think the leaves might be dry enough now, maybe not. Okay, I'm going to take a little of this fluorescent green and we're going to see what comes out of it. Is it going to brighten up our leaf any? Oh, a little bit. It's still not quite the shade that I'm thinking it needs to be. So, definitely not a leafy color to me. So I'm going to come back and grab some of that leaf green and not with water. I'm not adding water to it. I'm trying to thin that up and just get some of the palette where I've already got it, or the cake where I've already got it loosened up here. I'm kind of going around the outside edge, trying to give it a rough leaf look. There we go. I think that's a little better. Grab that really light leaf green and come down this stem one more time. There we go. Now we got it. All right. I will share a picture on my page when I get the frame drawn and all my other bits put in there. So thank you for joining me. I sure appreciate you being here and look forward to painting with you next time, friend. Okay, where did my mouse go? There it is. Have a great day, friend.